hope you're enjoying our wonderful summer. Hope you're enjoying your hot rods, your race cars, your street rods, show cars, whatever it is that, you know, whatever it was that prompted you to drop by and check us out. If you're still building it, I hope you're having fun building it, and maybe with any luck you can, you know, I can pass on a piece of knowledge you can use. That would be great. That's what my channel is all about, passing on a little bit of information. So anyways, one-man show, so I got to move the tripod around and stuff like that, so forgive my shakiness and whatnot. This engine came in to me from a customer, a repeat customer of mine. He bought this engine as a rebuilt engine, and it has some very nice parts in it. It was very well done. The customer ran it 20 minutes and the cam failed. Well, we're all familiar with that. That's what happens these days, right? So, he's a very competent mechanic himself. He pulled it all apart, put another cam in, thinking, you know, cams fail, right? Run it 20 minutes. He did everything absolutely right. The thing fired instantly. He took it up to 2,000 RPM. He ran it 20 minutes. All the proper oil for, you know, I know that for a fact. He told me it had that, but, you know, you got that very distinctive feel of break-in oil with zinc additive. It's, you can't mistake that. So, I know everything was done correct. The cam failed after 20 minutes, the second cam. So he brings it to me to see if we can get the thing working. And, well, let's go over a few things. When we disassemble an engine here, me, usually just myself, my helpers, whatever, just when an engine gets disassembled here, everything gets laid out on a clean bench the way it comes apart. And that, more often than not, serves a very good purpose. You just can't take these things apart, throw the pieces in a bucket. You're starting your rebuild off wrong. There's a reason for doing it this way. So we get everything laid out, and we start looking, and we find, you know, I think we got 6 lobes that failed, 6 lifters that failed, and we start looking, because everything's laid out. The next thing I did was I looked at each push rod, looked to see if there's a difference between the ones where the lifters failed and the others. That was all good. I checked out each rocker arm. The fulcrum point, you know, both of the ends, everything was fine. So I went to the cylinder head, the other one's apart. We're going to post pictures on top of all of this to boot. Check the guides, see if there was something wrong with the guides, maybe a sticking guide or a loose guide. Everything was fine. But here's what we found out. When they put the bigger cam in, they went to a stronger valve spring. You have to do that, right? If it's, you know, any degree of cam change at all. It has a thicker diameter. Because it's a thicker diameter, the inside diameter was smaller. The damper, I don't know if you can see that on there, and it won't come out. I wish I could get one out to show you. Anyways, the inside diameter of the damper, and if you look on there, you'll see some wear marks, which we'll get to in a bit. The inside diameter was smaller. That locates on a boss on the cylinder head, as you can see in the photo here. So what happened, because it wouldn't fit around the boss, it just rode on top of the boss. Now that boss sits up 1/2 inch. The outer diameter of the spring went over top. Everything looked fine. It was the inner damper that was hung up on it. It compressed it a good amount. I mean, it compressed at 500 thou. So now when the valve opened, there wasn't enough room in between the coils for the inner, and the inner's bound up to the point where they actually started to break and fall apart. when that happened, the pressure would have went, the cam to lobe pressure would have went through the roof. That's what wiped out the cam. If we go back now, because everything is laid out precisely as it was, we look at every failed lobe, match it to the lifter, to the push rod, to the valve, and you look in there, those ones, the inner is on top of the boss. Every one with the inner went around the boss and seated the way it's supposed to. Every one of them, the lobe is perfect. So that's what caused that cam to fail. Yeah, it's not always the cams, right? Unfortunately, because of that, we'll post pictures. Unfortunately, because of that, all the metal, and there was a lot of metal in the engine, in the oil, got in between, of course, the pistons and the cylinder walls, got up in the oil rings, gouged the cylinders quite badly. Fortunately, it was a brand new standard size block. We can bore it 20, salvage the block. The bearings are all trash. The crankshaft has to be turned. It needs a complete rebuild, as if it was a 100,000-mile engine. So we're going to do all that. We're going to bore it, put new pistons in, new bearings, rings, all that kind of stuff. We're going to fix the heads proper, put a nice cam in it for him, assemble it. We're going to run it, rake it in on our engine test stand. We're going to make it right for him so he can, you know, literally speaking, off to the races, right? So, well, that's just something I want to share with you. That's why you got to check everything when you're doing these. You got to clean, 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 check everything, and then check it again. Okay, everyone, have a nice evening.